So I'm at my garden work day, organic community garden, and it's meeting time. I'm looking at them all meeting right now, and most of them have masks on. And I had to walk out of the meeting because the board member said the first thing they said was, "Okay, does anyone have any issues with COVID-19? We're going through a very difficult time right now, and we're going to have to take precautions. Uh, it's not in the bylaws, but we're going to have to scrub down the wheelbarrows after we use them, and you need to respect the social distancing." And as I walked by, some guy like got out of the way. It's like, wow. I mean, this is people growing their own food. And you know, you would think a lot of them are all really friendly people, but you would think that there would be a little bit more awareness. And this same board member I ran into maybe a month ago, and I thought she was like, I hate to say that word woke, but I thought she was like on the level where she kind of would know what was happening, because we talked about other stuff. And she said, "Oh, this is serious. People are dying." You know, and that's the one saying that really gets me is people are dying. You know what? People die from everything. People die from car accidents. People die from heart disease, from cancer, from type 2 diabetes, from botched medical procedures, from suicide. You know, and more people are calling the suicide hotlines, and depression is kicking in ever since this thing. I mean, stop watching the news. There's been study after study, and even the CDC now shows the death rate at 0.002. Okay, 0.002, huh? 0.0028. That is below seasonal flu, guys. This is a scamdemic, and if that is hard for you to understand, and you want to plug your ears and say, "Fuck this guy, what's he talking about?" That's fine. Do what you want. But the USC study, the Stanford study, the CDC. I did a post on the CDC recently stated these projected scenarios, and everything's at 0.002 and then 0.004. That is less deadly than seasonal flu. So you could say people are dying because of seasonal flu. It's just you. They Live, the movie They Live, I was talking with my friend Ian, is so relevant right now because in that movie they're telling us that there's these frequencies, this subliminal mind control that is literally keeping everyone in place and in this locked down mental state where you're just totally programmed and mind controlled. And there's no doubt in my mind that if you watch TV regularly and you think you're getting your information that's accurate and true and correct from the mainstream media, that you are saying, "I want to be the sheeple person in They Live that gets completely mind controlled." The television is a subliminal mind control machine, and if you research the patents on subliminal mind control, they are using these cell towers it's not just so you get reception. There's these subliminal mind control problems, and these things are happening. That's got to be the reason why everyone is so dumbed down. I just, I can't come up with any better idea, because I've read the patents, not all the way through. They're pretty lengthy and everything, but they exist, and patents usually are created for a reason, so they can be utilized. All the patents on geoengineering. There's people that still don't even get that. So, the coronavirus patent, was patented. I'm just so sick of this. I'm so sick of this, and I'm just speechless at this point. I walked out of that meeting, and I don't mean to be rude, but when the first thing of your gardeners meeting, it talks about, we're talking about COVID-19 months what are we, in June now? We're in June. Guys, we're in June. And we're still locked down. You know, I still have to, you still see masks normalized. And I don't think this is going to go back to normal. You know, those Chinese folks you see walking around with masks before all this stuff happened, you're like wondering, why do they wear a mask? Because they were conditioned back in their own country, most likely, to do the same thing. To you know, because the Chinese Communist Party is the template for the New World Order and Agenda 21, and they've gotten everything to this collective state where, you know, it's completely tyrannical, and they've already been conditioned to wear masks all the time, you know, and just, you know, the complete social conditioning and brainwashing that you need to wear gloves and masks, I mean, might be the biggest psyop that we are dealing with. You have an immune system. We've talked about this so much, but you need to come in contact with other forms of bacteria. So that's how your body builds defense, is coming into contact with, you know, different forms of bacteria, you know, so you know, your body knows to flush out the bad stuff, you know. It's like, it just goes back to not knowing thyself and not having knowledge of this amazing divine machine temple that we inhabit currently in our avatar state. And it goes back to just, we're totally, this whole thing is work from Satan, Lucifer. There's no doubt in my mind, because everyone is distanced from knowledge, true knowledge of self. And when you have knowledge of self, you have knowledge of the Creator, because we're a fractal, we're a creative spark of the Creator. And everything is fractals, you know. And so if you don't have any knowledge of yourself, of how an immune system works, and how, you know, you want to be playing in the soil and getting dirty as a kid and everything, and you don't want to be getting vaccines and be immunocompromised. You want to beat things naturally. When you beat things naturally, when you beat measles naturally as a kid, you have lifelong immunity to measles. You don't need to get a booster shot every 7 years. And when you beat measles naturally, it also protects against adult cancers, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma and cardiovascular disease. So if you want to be healthy, you let your system beat things naturally, and you just give it herbs and the things it needs. Vitamin A, C, and D, you know. So I guess I just needed to vent a little bit, and it's just astounding to me that people are still so brainwashed and asleep. And I think you know, what's the solution? I'm not someone that just wants to bitch and moan and whine and complain, because there's always a solution. It's just a matter of finding it and thinking and asking the Creator and asking the universe to provide you with those solutions, and they will come to you intuitively. You have to, first of all, decalcify and get the pineal gland, the channel for these higher frequencies. You need to get right so you can receive those higher frequencies. And I really think it comes down to like in They Live, you know, the last thing he did was he took down that subliminal mind control machine, and gifting cell towers is good. We might have to, I don't know if we're going to need to pull down these cell towers eventually, but these frequencies are doing something to people, because everyone is in a stupor. And I think we're all having problems with our families. We can't even, relationships are getting severed. I mean, every sort of collateral damage. Pam Popper talked about that. The collateral damage from these lockdowns and these resulting government policies is far worse than any virus. Even if there was some bioengineered virus, I'm not saying there is, I'm not saying there's not. Even if there was something that was really harmful, the effects of what the government has done psychologically, financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the effects are far worse. And I don't know how you put a number on that, but when people are afraid to walk by you in the grocery store because you're closer than 6 feet or whatever, and you see that fear in them, when people are full body suited for something that is a 0.00 2 death rate, you know that there's some serious problems. Tuberculosis has a 15% death rate, had a 15% death rate in 2018. 15%. And none of this stuff happened. None. Absolutely no lockdowns, no gloves, no social distancing, no shelter in place, all these psychological bullshit big brother terms that they're getting you indoctrinated with, and then you get these celebrity pedophiles on the mainstream news saying, oh, we're all in this together, and do your part, stay home, stay safe. It's all a giant fucking psychological operation. And if you can't see through it, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem. This is a good time to unite, but it's also very, very fitting that that video I did with the Great Divide. There is a great divide happening right now where the people who are supporting the system, supporting this evil, are being separated. The wheat is being separated from the chaff, because there's been multiple sayings from very wise people, sages and stuff, that if you witness to evil and you're silent, you're complicit, you're part of the problem. And there's people out there, I think of my own family members, who watch this media and they get all in this media-induced frenzy and fear and anxiety. They're part of the problem. And that's created distance with me and my family. And I'm sure it's severing a lot of other relationships, because there's people that can see what's happening. Their third eyes are open, and they have a complete grasp of what's happening. They know the facts. They don't just watch mainstream media. They look at other studies that have been done. They look at even what the CDC is saying. They're looking at Fauci of the World Health Organization telling us. I mean, even these criminals are telling us don't wear a mask, and people are wearing masks just because these health officers who have ties. If you look at every public health officer throughout the country, I guarantee you, I know ours does, and I know others do, they have ties to the CDC and the World Health Organization. Guaranteed. And what are those organizations about? Well, they're funded by Bill Gates, and Bill Gates, so if their top guy is funding them and he's all about vaccinating everyone on the planet, then how legitimate and credible can our public health officer be? Right? So these people are taking orders from their public health officer like they're the health czar of the universe. And they don't give any sort of instructions or orders on how to protect yourself, your immune system, strengthen your immune system, how to eat right, how to feel right, how to think right, how to live right. There's no instructions. It's just orders. Wear a mask, fear. This is complete Orwellian medical tyranny. And you're either part of the problem or you're part of the solution at this point. Because if you are silent and you're not speaking up about what you see and what you're experiencing on a daily basis, and you think it's just going to go away, you're deceived. It's not going to go away. It's going to go away. It's going to remain due to the silence, due to the tacit agreement. When you are silent and you don't voice your opinion that you do not consent, you are accepting that tacitly. And that's what this whole contract-based system of maritime law is based on. This whole thing is based on contracts, offers and counter offers, rebuttals and presumptions. So when they put this information out, and we don't rebut it and say, no, that's not true, and I don't consent to that, and I'm not tacitly agreeing it, we have contracted with the system. All those people out there, all these family members that are going along with this scamdemic, you are part of the problem, because you are contracting with these devils. You're contracting with these deceivers, and the more people that contract with these deceivers and these magicians, the harder it's going to be for all of us to pull ourselves out of this mess, because we are only as strong as our community members. And if you get people, and if our community is walking around in a garden full of plants and fresh oxygen, if you have people walking around in fear and masks and gloves wiping down wheelbarrows, you're part of the problem, and we're devolving, not evolving. That's all I got for today. Much love. Peace.